So much to talk about in regards to CWL Anaheim. Every year, this event is filled with some amazing moments, hype crowds, and unbelievable matches. It's always one of the best events because there's always some teams that come out and surprise us all. So this is a rapid-fire segment. So let's get to it. I want clean and concise answers. Maven, you get to go first. Which squad had the biggest surprise performance of the weekend?
I think it has to be Tainted Minds. They get into the top 8. That's ludicrous. They hadn't won a hard point in about a year, it felt like, in the division.
It's a long time.
They're, what, 0-7 within their division. They're struggling to beat anybody, and then they come here and get top 8. That was absolutely insane. Any pro player I talked to was mind blown when I was walking outside talking about, like, what do you mean they're in the top 8? They 3-0 Envy, they 3-0 Echo Fox. It was absolutely absurd they got to that spot. It was exciting to see for APAC fans, but I was blown away, absolutely blown away.
No, definitely so. Obviously, that 3 over Envy was a big deal. 3 over Echo Fox. You thought that was going to be that surprise team. The one time you didn't pick him.
Yeah, right.
But Ben, what do you think?
I completely agree with Clint. There's nothing more to say in terms of biggest surprise.
There's nothing close to it.
Every other answer is incorrect, so you have to take the Australian route. You could even argue Mind Freak having such a good performance and breaking into the top 8 as they did as well. Fantastic performance from them, but Tainted Minds, I don't know where it came from. It was funny because I remember last Trading Shots, me and Clint had this big debate, and I went on a limb and said, yep, Tainted Minds, best team in Australia. And they were a map away, essentially, going that far, but an unbelievable performance from them.
I just don't think anyone had Tainted Minds in the top 8 other than like the players' girlfriends and parents. Like that's
they
how
probably
absurd.
didn't even have it.
No,
come
even
on.
them, if there was money on the line or a gun to a head, no way they're taking that. So that was very impressive.
I definitely agree with both of you guys. I'm each going to give you 1 point because, yeah, it has to be Tainted Minds. It's all tied up right now. But, yes, Tainted Minds, they get top 8. What a step up from the Pro League because right now they don't even have a win in the Pro League. So, okay, from surprises, we have to go to the other side of the spectrum. Benson, which team was the biggest disappointment?
That's tough. Biggest disappointment, I think you can look at the likes of Epsilon, despite improving in terms of how well they actually played. Still not the best performance that you want to see. I know Echo Fox started off very, very strong, but they fell a little bit flat phase. I think they got their highest performance at an open event, but still, we didn't really get to see them late. But for me, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say TK for one very simple reason. On Friday, we were looking at that TK squad saying, they're back. Like, this is a championship caliber squad. Come Sunday, did we even...
These are all horrendous answers. Can we get to me now?
Ben, do you have anything else to say?
These are horrendous.
Clint, after you.
It is absolutely, without question, evil geniuses. There's no way to argue any other team. They were, 5-2 within the division. Great at search and destroy. Everyone has them as a favorite, maybe like a top 3 favorite. They come in, they don't win a single search and destroy. They go 0-8. It was one of the worst performances I've seen from a team that many consider contenders at this actual event. Someone that could make a run into it, maybe another grand final. It was incredibly, incredibly disappointing. I'd be embarrassed if I was anyone on that squad.
No, definitely so. And plus, they also had a good hardpoint record. But on the side of TK, you know, they lose to FaZe. It was a Sunday morning match. It was very difficult. But, yeah, I agree with you, Maven. I think the only other option had to be Team Envious. You know, losing 3-0 Saturday night to Tainted Minds, such a big deal. They were an underdog for me. And, well, Team Envious just did not perform. So 1 point to Maven. Ben, almost there. Next question in this round. What was the best series of the weekend? Maven, let's start with you.
Oh, that's tough. There were a lot of amazing series, absolutely. But, Joe, I have to go with our cast in the winner's bracket final. That was the first big best of 6 I've ever casted. It's a best of 5 that goes the distance because, from what I understand, the second time in the history of Call of Duty esports, we're looking all the way back to like Black Ops 2 in 2013, that a game tied at a hard point. It was absurd. We were losing our minds. Then it goes to the 5th map in the S&D to decide it between Rise and Red. That was one of the crazier series, crazier maps that I've ever been a part of. It's got to be that for me.
No, definitely so. The winner's bracket final was, well, a preview of that grand final. You know, Rise Nation were able to take it, but it was a ton of fun. Ben, what do you think?
Thanks, Joe. Clint, great answer, but unfortunately, the wrong answer.
What?
Has to be the series myself and Revan casted. Optic versus Unilad. I don't care what you say. That was phenomenal. A game 5, round 11. Don't get me wrong. You had a 6-game series. Pretty unusual. But the way our series went, I mean, we had a 4-0 CTF that was still unbelievably close. We had just mind-blowingly close games of hardpoint, and the search and destroys were just unbelievable. The round 11, Optic Gaming, Unilad, it was a loser's bracket match, and it was everything for Optic Gaming, and it just proved Unilad really are one of the best teams in the circuit right now.
Yeah, it's a tough choice between both of these matches. Obviously, I have a little heart towards Maven's choice. But I'm going to give it to you, Ben, because I think the Optic Gaming Unilad was a sight to see. That round 11, that 4 versus 3 retake that Unilad had to get top 4. What a series for them. So I'm going to give you 1 point. It was unbelievable. Last question. Who was the best player of the weekend? Maven, you're up.
I'm going to go with an interesting answer here. Now, I know it's easy to say, like, unless he won MVP, Rise won the tournament, but that's not the one that stuck with me, and I think stuck with a lot of pro players. I'm going with Alex from Unilad. He was such an explosive SMG. His name exploded over this weekend. I saw pro players talking about it, fans talking about it. He was a massive part of why Unilad was able to make that run to top 4. And it's an unusual name. I like to see kind of an up-and-comer, the guy that we might be talking about at superstar status down the road. Alex really, really stuck in my brain throughout the week, and I was so impressed with what he did.
Yeah, I think Alex had a great game, especially the 1 versus Optic sticks out. A great performance, especially individually from him. Ben, what do you think?
Alex double kill. I like your pick, Clinton. Thinking
You're just going to tie him up, huh?
No. I actually do have a different answer here, and it's an interesting one because I think, to Clint's point, it's very easy to look at a Rise Nation player and say, yep, for me, it was that guy. Instead, I'm going to look over towards Red Reserve, and maybe a player that you might not think I'm going to say, Rated. This is a guy who dropped double digits in search so many times, unbelievably clutch performances, and as well as that, he really led by example. I think if there was any question about whether he's a top AR in the game or a top 5 AR, top 3 AR, I think we just had our answers, our questions answered coming in at the end here of Anaheim.
See, I think if I was going to take somebody from Red, though, I'd go with Zero.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's too easy. I mean, but it's so easy to say Zero.
Rated's been so consistent all year. I feel like that's easy. Like Zero, I don't want to say came out of nowhere, but he had the best performance he's had all year by a landslide. But, I mean, Raid's a great pick, too. But I don't know, man. For some reason, Alex just really, really stuck in my head. What a game-changing player.
I don't disagree. I think he was phenomenal all weekend.
Yeah, I think both of you guys had some great picks. I agree with Maven there. I have to give him the point there through that question. I think Alex stepped up big time. He had some great individual plays. Rated was there, but we also saw Rated struggle a little bit, especially in the grand finals. He had some off maps. But again, Alex from Unilad had a great weekend.
Well, and honestly, if Rated didn't fall off after that replay, they probably would have been in the winner's bracket side waiting in the grand final. Like, he said it himself in the interview that he shit the bed. Like, he fell apart in a couple of maps. So I know he played well, but he did disappear in a couple of big games.
Yeah, definitely so.